Welcome to the Prolific Pulse Poetry
Okay,
Podcast and YouTube. This is
that's
your
nice.
host, Lisa Tomey. But today, I'm not really the host, I'm the co author of a collaboration called Silver Linings. I'm here with LaVan Robinson. LaVan, you'll hold up your book. I hold up mine. Mine says proof on it. So I'm using my proof copy, but you've got the real thing. Two different kinds. He's got the shiny one. That's the one we actually ended up with.
Very nice.
Yes. Silver linings, reflections of life and hope through poetry. And I know that we had a review up on Amazon. For some reason, it's not there anymore. I was going to read it, but it's not there anymore. So I don't know what happened, but
Mm.
maybe Jeff Bezos hit the wrong button. I don't.
The Amazon.
Amazon, what's wrong with
He
you?
wants to, he wants to go to space, so he ain't worried about Earth no more.
I guess when he hit that space button, he deleted our. So if you happen to have purchased our book, thank you very much. And if not, then why not? You need to do that. I'll put a link in the show notes too, so you can have the opportunity to purchase this book. LaVan and I were talking about. I actually think this would be a great book for ministers to have because there's a lot of things here that could be read from the pulpit, and
Yeah.
it could be read in church meetings because it's really about life. It's about hope, and it's all through poetry that we are expressing these things. So I think that it could really be something that could be used in the church. If I had the budget, I'd just send one to every church in town and say
Mm.
book, but that would be kind of like breaking the big budget.
That's a big budget.
That's a big budget. But
Big.
you could buy the book, that will help the big budget. But anyway, um, but if you do read the book, thank you. And if you do read the book, please, please, please go on Amazon and do the review because reviews do help push the books to the top of the
Yes.
list. I mean, I'd love to wake up one day and see this book has been pushed way up the line. And poetry books is hard. It's really hard. If you get a number one poetry book,
You
it's
had
like
to do a lot of work.
it's it's almost impossible. And so I was in a meeting last night, and they were like, if you get like into tens of thousands, you're doing really good. So I'm like, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that. Just enough to make a livelihood out of it. But like I said, there's nothing under the sun that hasn't been done. Now I know, for me, I don't think God put poetry in my life just for me to be meteor. No, I'm gonna keep pushing and bring poetry to a level where it's every day. It's like breathing.
mhm. Yep.
And so I look forward to the challenge of being having a couple number ones on a best selling list.
That would be
Literally.
awesome. Yeah, be awesome. No, never say never. Make it happen. You had your other books on number one, so I mean, why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
We look, if you can't give away anything that you make, then you should be you should find another job. so, so find something else to do. So basically, we gave out samples, and everybody enjoyed the samples. But as you said, it would be nice because this is a powerful book, powerful collaboration, and we do these podcasts so you can understand how powerful it is, and you
Mhm.
get your copy, right fresh from the press before it goes worldwide. You'd be one of the first ones to say, yeah, and that's a big accomplishment. So, as Lisa
Mhm.
said, please, we're gonna promote this book because I believe in it, as everything else, and get your copy. You won't be disappointed. That's all I can say. You won't be you'll be very elated from what I gather.
Yeah. And I think maybe we need to tell people how this book came about. What do you say about that?
I think that's a blessing.
Hmm. We were talking on Facebook Messenger about a collaboration, and I believe it was LaVan's idea, and then we talked about it because we have two different kinds of styles of poetry. I'm more free form. I do some prose poetry. I do some,
I love
haibun
prose.
and haiku and stuff like that. But LaVan does mostly prose poetry, and so and some people even in the poetry industry, so to speak, don't understand prose poems. So you have to understand them. And fortunately, I came into knowing LaVan with the background of working with a poet who does prose poems. So that helped. And then I started editing and publishing for LaVan. And then he, so I gained an understanding about his writing style. And so
Yes.
it wasn't scary to go into this. It was actually um, very, sorry about my phone going off. I thought I turned it off. Very good experience for me to go through and do this book. And as I would read his poems, then I would either write a poem to respond to it, or I looked in my poem vault and pulled out some poetry that I thought would be a good mix. And what we did was at the beginning of the book, we did the collaboration where we actually wrote one poem together. Where we did like just a few poems that way in the front,
Mm.
and then in the most of the meat of the book is where LaVan wrote a poem, and then I wrote a poem behind it, and then to respond to it. And toward the end of the book, we have our own individual poems about the topic of hope, and so you have kind of a mix. And do we have anything you want to add to that, LaVan?
All I know is that I love prose. Well, I may be known as the king of prose when it all said and done. But I like prose because it keeps me balanced and not. I love fishing, and I know that you can let your line go all the way out and hope that you catch something, but most likely you'll catch a rock or the
Yeah.
bottom. And so you got to keep to me, I got to keep it grounded,
Mhm.
because my thoughts be everywhere, literally. So, like I said, this is a good collaboration, two different styles, but it's all the benefit of poetry and to enlighten and bring awareness through poetry, to take serious subjects and put a poetic twist and have a meaning because all is all about life and bettering and sustaining your life through knowledge. And if we could give knowledge, wisdom, understanding through poetry, then more so. But poetry does take you away and gives you a chance to look at life poetically, and maybe you find the silver linings that life is not that bad. Tests has come to test to make sure to make or break you, and it all depends. If you look for the silver lining, you're gonna know that those clouds is not gonna last. You're gonna be happy, and you're gonna look forward to every day, despite what the day brings. You're gonna end up being happy and at peace.
Yeah. And I think that the other part is silver linings, because some of the poems in here are not, like everything's grand in the world. We actually address some things in the poetry, and recognizing that even in the craziness of the world, there is a silver lining. But the whole idea of hope, of even if you're in a puddle of mud, you know, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through that puddle of mud. You're going to get on the other side. And let's turn to page 18, LaVan. I'll let you just get started and
Okay.
read B.
Yeah, I like to touch the spiritual and the spiritual aspect because we're this physical being that we're in is only temporary, but the spirit is forever.
Yeah.
God intended it to be forever. So while we're here, we have to pick up everything we need to go
Mhm.
to the next level of spiritualness, which is not here on this earth. We go to another place where our
Mhm.
spirituality will what we learn here spiritually what we have to take to the next level.
Mhm.
Um, so I, I, I wrote B. I wrote B in honor for spiritual taking it to the next level. So
Okay.
B. I give honor to those brave and beautiful souls that paved the way for me to follow and positively promote the beauty of my blackness. The blueprint is simple. We as one people must unite, and for our existence, we must stand and fight for equality. All must be included in the plan to uplift humanity. Every soul in the continuation of struggle truly matters, and that's a fact. When it's all said and done, accountability for actions or lack of will be in the forefront. Treat one another in love, respect, and with dignity, and only then will this nation and others around the world and all its inhabitants experience, realize, and taste the beneficial qualities of what others did and continue boldly laying down their lives for, to see into fruition one man's vision of the simplicity of the powerful dream of how we could truly live and be.
Thank you. Powerful poem there. And then mine is those before us. With honor, I regard the peacekeepers in a world with so much pain. There have been leaders of great stature who have led the way from shame. When regarding those who keep the peace, keep in mind those who keep quiet, living their lives in ways of love and keeping their bases solid for respite. Not all people march and hold court, but they hold something else. Everything they see and hear becomes an influence on decision. And if
Mm,
those decisions mean peace and motivate them to keep watch, then those before us are just as much as those who exist in every day. Bringing
mm.
peace in our daily lives, pay attention to the helpers of this world. They hold the keys to peace.
Yeah. And that's the difference. The different styles, but with the same energy towards giving hope and giving recognition to those before us who paved the way, and they showed us how how we could accomplish peace. It's not going to be easy, but that's why I look at this book as being a powerful
Hmm.
piece of literature in this day where, like Lisa said, where things are so good. So where where we are diverse, but we are under humanity, and we're every which way, being pulled by different directions, and it's all based on why we're here on this earth, which is only temporary, and the love, peace, unity, and all that. Those things is going to last with us, but if we don't strive for it, you might as well humanity might as well be non-existent because that's is leading to you know self-annihilation, self-destruction, hatred of self, inequality, and we all it's like sleeping in bed with your enemy, and you refuse to talk about this, and you carry it on to the day after day after day, and it gets worse and worse, and you have an opportunity to rectify it, but you know we don't we don't think that's important enough in our lives.
Yeah.
Not good. So um, that's why I believe the collaboration, and the more and more I get into it, the more and more I see how powerful it is, and I can see that this book is going to be very meaningful, and or one of the tools to accomplish what humanity is made to accomplish. Get ready for the spiritual awakening and awareness, because we all gonna have to answer for our spirituality one way or another. So I mean, the
Let's try
choice is
another.
yours.
Let's try on page 30, LaVan. I'll have you read another one. Fellow man.
Okay, fellow man, and we're here to serve our fellow man, in order or not. And to bring him into some awareness and into the
Absolutely.
godliness.
Absolutely.
Fellow man, there are so many people in the world having a hard time dealing with life and the cards that they have been dealt, struggling with the pain and the effects of such still so very much deeply felt, coping and getting by the best that they can, and believing that there's no one out there that understands. Feeling lost in this great big old world, screaming for help but not being noticed or even heard. Walking around totally unresponsive to all around them, without feeling, just totally numb. Hoping for someone or anyone that'll care and their struggles and problems too, that they can openly share. We all have things that we struggle with. It's important that we're able to rely on each other and not quit. This, please do understand that we have to look out not only for ourselves, but also for our fellow man.
Thank you. So important. And mine is it me? Is it me, or do you think it's so? Looking at the world in my little nucleus, watching how each ebb and flow comes together, washing to shore the needs of our fellow people. There's the lady in the store, the one about to give birth, sitting on a stool as she runs the register, people asking for things regardless of her condition, what to do to be kind. What about
Mm,
the one who waits while groceries are rung, tapping her foot from anxiety, noting the total, trying her card, decline, what to do to be kind? What about the neighbor having kids full of energy, arms full to the car, rushing and dropping, laughing and running, nerves clearly fraying, what to do to be kind? It takes a village, so they say, as the oceans of life brings needs ashore, asking ourselves the question again, what to do to be kind.
that very powerful, and I look at the world, and to me, I just want to shake. I just want to get all the people in power in one room, in a dark room, excuse me, and just and just shake them all, so they can see that you're endowed with power, great power, and you're not. And it doesn't take a lot of power to do kind things, to promote humanity to the best, to be the best that they can, eliminate all the negativity and stop feeding, to destruction, because what you feed the mind and soul is what you're going to reap. Now, if you continue to put pollution out there and not kindness and it's me against the world, then that attitude is what you see out here. Out here, outside, what you feel is real. It ain't no dream. It ain't no movie. It ain't no take three. Once this take is done, it's done. So you definitely it's important that you know find yourself through these clouds and look for the silver lining, which is your soul and which is your predestined voice, and use your voice for the betterment of man, your fellow man, and yourself. And when you give to your fellow man wholeheartedly, you're going to get it back 10 times. And to know that you made a difference in somebody's day. I mean, there's no better feeling than that, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, to be a
Yeah.
giver is better than a taker. God is going to give you no matter how much you give. He's going to make sure that you always have enough, more than enough. You know, a lot of people don't see that, those basic things. So I believe that through the book we address those things. And, like you said, it would be good because a lot of people don't know. You know, you thinking that a lot of people know. A lot of people is clueless. Like,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah.
So,
Well, LaVan, you want to read one of your individual poems? It starts on page 77.
okay, yeah,
Pick one.
let me see. Hmm. Yeah, the more I look at this book, the more I was like, damn, we did. You know, maybe the world won't notice it right now, but I believe that we left a blueprint. We left a powerful blueprint when it came down to addressing poetically and seeing life poetically and allow people know that dark cloud behind every dark cloud is a silver lining. That you can't get no more powerful than that. You
Right.
know. So I'm going to read. Ooh, ooh, yeah, something that they haven't heard before. Pieces,
Okay.
pieces, and in the abyss of my empty mind was where I spent alone most of my time. Within its corridors, I walked hand in hand with darkness. I was blinded by its lure of stagnation. I became satisfied of its dietary mixture of vanity. The more I consumed, the less I became, engulfed by the insanity which was my life. I fell into the endless bottom of strife. I wanted so badly to reach out to someone, anyone. I genuinely believed that I was done out of the madness that I self created within the boundaries of my own counsel and understanding. I was surprised that I was still standing. God had for me a purpose, and the more I tried to run away from it over time, from the ashes, it would surface. Now grateful am I to be no more fighting against His will. My purpose here on earth I am ready, able, and willing to fulfill on the hill, being that light so others too can pick up the pieces, live out their purpose, and for His glory, their life.
Thank you. It's so true. You move forward, and you keep seeking that.
And you can have all this with the Silver Linings book. Get your copy right away. It's going hot off. Believe me, once the world catches on, these books is going to sell out. It's going to be awaiting you. Might as well get it and be one of the first ones that said, "Yeah, I got mine." Silver linings.
Silver lining. All right, I'm going to finish out with a poem called Kindness Calls,
Okay.
the haiku train. It's nature's call, flowering to openness, wanting your wonder. Wonder brings hoping, opening the eyes
Mm,
widely, seeing nature's needs. Kindness calls your name, taking steps to help the world, one heart at a time.
that's what it's all about. Silver's lining, and it's powerfully said that you're more. Now, you don't never count your show your value or lessen your value. You're worth more than anything on this earth. You stand prolifically by yourself as humanity and as human beings. So I would employ that you look at life simple and know that you're greater than anything that's going to come at you, anything that's going to be compared with you on this earth. You're greater than that. Your value is greater. Your soul is precious, and your soul is value above anything. And God made that specifically that way. So when you go through these storms, know that you not going for it in vanity. You know, that diamond, which is your soul, still has to shine, and each storm you go through is going to brighten up your shine even more. So I would employ anyone listening to this, get silver linings. Check out the book on Amazon and eKindle. You won't be disappointed, and it'll be one of the best things you could do for yourself because it has a lot of powerful knowledge, and you won't look at the clouds you won't look at clouds the same way. You'll be like, oh, it's a silver lining. Got 'em.
There you go. Thanks, LaVan. Thank you all for listening. The information's in the show notes, and y'all have a wonderful day.